Well, hello everybody. Happy Thursday, March 7th. Thank you very much for joining us. Today is part two of a very special series that my friend and our presenter, who I'll introduce in just a minute, and I are putting on. But don't fret. If you didn't make last week, or you don't think you can make every Thursday at the same time for these 9 weeks, don't stress. We are recording these webinars. We're sending them out to everybody who registers. So even if you don't think you can attend, please make sure you register. We'll make sure and get you a copy of the recording, etc., even if you don't make it. Today, Sean's going to talk about a really important topic and grow on what we talked about last week, and I'm not going to steal his thunder. One basic piece of housekeeping that I talk about in every webinar we do. First of all, thank you for being here. We're here for you, folks. It's not lost on Sean or I. We've both been personal producers. You aren't out during this time scheduling appointments, putting food on your table. We're here for you. If you have questions, please type them in the question box, and we will do our best to answer them. The only ones we don't answer are if you ask about, an individual case you're working on. But anything in general you want to know, ask us, and we'll take care of that. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, a good friend of mine, Sean Ruggiero. Sean, welcome.
Thanks, Jim. Happy to be on. Excuse my voice. I've been doing some coaching here. We added a 7-on-7 league for football, and it's funny how kids don't listen. These high schoolers don't listen until you're actually yelling at the top of your lungs. So I apologize if my voice is a little bit shot. If you have trouble hearing me or you need me to repeat myself, please let me know. And to Jim's point, this is for you. Before we started this, we were literally talking about the importance of you as agents. I mean, without you all, I don't have a job. Jim doesn't have a job. You all are doing the hard work. So we're here to support you. We're here to help you. And that being said, I want to motivate you to challenge yourself and create an undertaking that might not be easy at first, but like we talked about last week, could double your income. With the same license, no new leads, the same people you're sitting down with, these trusted people who are looking to you for their Medicare needs, we want you to be able to help them further in protecting their financial capital by using annuities, specifically fixed index annuities. And you're going to make a lot of money doing it. But the great thing is you're doing it with a servant's heart, and you're doing it in the right way. And that's what I teach. Because, Jim, if I've got to go out and help an old lady cross the road, I'm not very stressed. I mean, fair enough, right? If I got to go out and find someone's purse and bring it back to them, I'm feeling pretty lighthearted. Would you agree?
I agree.
If I got to go out and steal someone's purse, I'm stressed out, right? And I equivalent that to sales. What is your heart? Where are you at? And if you feel that annuities are too difficult, you're too busy, I challenge that, because nothing in life worth doing comes easy. That being said, I think what Western has set up, what we have put together, is the easiest way to sell annuities to the clients that you have and to help them. And I'm going to walk you through it and coach you through it. Jim's going to be here every step of the way. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to close this. If I close this screen, okay, you can still see me, right, Jim? But now I can show off what I have here shared, correct?
Correct. We can see your screen. It's a Western Marketing website.
That's what we want to show. So we're going to dive in. Last week was how to double your income, and it was an overview. I'm going to show you the tool that has been set up, the resource that has been set up. Under resources, you're going to go to the ARC, the Annuity Resource Center. This is exclusively provided to you from Western Marketing. So here is the home. You're going to continue to have access, and I'm going to walk you through each step of this here. The very first step is this: get your annuity badge. Jim, I think I already told you this, but I'll ask you again, see if you remember. Do you know how long it took me once I got my life insurance license, once I started selling life insurance? Do you know how long it took me to sell my first annuity?
Gosh, no, I don't remember. I know it was a while.
Yeah, it was 18 months. 18 months, a year and a half, right? Why? Why was it a year and a half? Here's why. Because when I went into people's homes, I didn't understand exactly what the annuity was supposed to do. I felt that it was a competitive product to what their financial advisor was providing. And I felt that it was probably an inferior product because, Jim, I didn't have a financial license. I didn't have a securities license. There had to have been some product out there that was better. So I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the confidence to do it. So here's what happened. I starved. I was hungry to know more. So I went out and got a securities license. I went out and got an RICP and a CHFC and a CEP. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. I'm not trying to brag about my education, but that's just how I'm programmed. It's probably some sort of insecurity that I have that I need to know. I hate it when people don't know. And when I tell my kids, I got 4 kids, 3 boys and a baby girl, I tell them this: if you know more than everyone else, you always have value. So I have been constantly trying to learn. Check this out. You don't have to know more than everyone else in the world, in the room, at the conventions that you go to. You just have to know more than your clients. And for the average American, their financial literacy is very low. So you just have to know what annuities do, how they do it, and what they don't do, right? So here's the funny thing, Jim. I went out and got all this financial acumen, all this education, securities license. I own my own RIA, et cetera, et cetera. And it came full circle. When it comes to these 3 things: protecting your principal, participating in upside gains, right? Because you can protect your principal with a CD, with a money market account, with treasury bonds, but you're not going to get a super high return. A fixed index annuity protects your principal and has the highest potential return of any of those safe products or risk-free products. And then finally, a fixed index annuity is still an annuity. So it has mortality credits. It has the ability to create guaranteed lifetime income, and only annuities can do that. See, that's what I learned, Jim, those 3 things. Once I got confident, I knew the questions to ask. We covered this last week, but I'll repeat it again. I knew how to ask the golden question. Then it was just a yes or no question. Now, I've got a PG version and I've got a not so PG version of this, but here's an analogy. Jim, if I wanted to go dance at the senior prom, I could spend a lot of time hemming and hawing and talking about the girl's dress or the boy's tuxedo, the punch or the music, or what do you think about this? And that's all well and good. But until I ask that person, do they want to dance? I've made no progress. You have to have the confidence to say, Jim, you want to dance? No? Okay. Susan, do you want to dance? No? Great. Craig, no? Andy, yes. Now I'm dancing, right? We can't get emotional about it. We have to know what annuities do, what they don't do, and stay within our lane and proudly and confidently just ask people, is this of interest to you? And Jim, who do Medicare agents work with? People that are 65 and older, right? Do you think someone who is 65 and older would find appealing the 3 benefits I just mentioned? Protection of your principal. You never have to worry about the money going down, no matter what happens to the stock market, no matter what's happening with terrorist attacks, with wars in Europe, inflation, doesn't matter. You'll sleep well at night because your money will never go down due to the stock market losses. Secondly, it has the highest participation of those risk-free products. You can see double-digit returns some years from a fixed index annuity. And finally, if you want to generate lifetime income for you, your spouse, your kids, however you want to dice it up, the fixed index annuity can do that, and only an annuity can do that. So if those three things are of any interest to you, then we should sit down and talk. Now, I know I'm repeating myself. I know I'm being a bit gratuitous in telling you the same thing again, but that's how simple it is. And when we look at step one, this annuity badge, when you click here, it's going to take you to a registration page where you put in your first name, last name, your email, and your national producer number. And then you get access to a video series that I've recorded. And Jim, we already have half a dozen of your agents that have done it. And they're getting sent a free copy of my book, 7 Benefits of FIAs for Retirement. But this is how you get confident. You're going to be taught by someone who has all the certifications, all the securities license, understands all the financial products, who tells you how to be confident and compliant and how to ask the right question, the golden question, so you can discover opportunities with the clientele that you already sit down with. Now let's go to the second tile, the financial inventory. So if we go to the financial inventory here, I strongly recommend that if you are not using a financial inventory, or what we call a confidential needs analysis, see if you're filling this out across the table, or we have it as a fillable PDF on your computer screen, it makes the client feel good knowing that it says confidential, because it is. And the questions that we're asking are important questions. They're also very personal questions. Jim, if I came to your door and I was selling cutlery, I was selling knives, and I started asking you your height, your weight, your social, your driver's license, your medications, you'd shut the door on me, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. It'd be bizarre. Why in the heck are you asking all these questions if you're trying to sell me knives? But if I'm a life insurance agent, if I'm there to help them with their Medicare or Medicare Advantage needs, I'm going to ask those questions and it makes sense. So you got to understand what your role is and what the lane is. So I'm going to ask them these questions. I'm going to ask them about their medical expenses. Do they have any extended care? Follow this confidential needs analysis, and then notice this section here, this life insurance section, because this section here contains the golden question. What is the golden question? It's simple. I first start by asking, Jim, do you have any life insurance currently? Whole life or term life? Not corporate or life, because that's usually not enough and it's not portable. It's not there when you need it. Do you have any current life insurance? See, that's a yes or no question, and it gives us an insight into what they have to protect their loved ones. But then after that, I'm going to ask the golden question. I'm going to say, Jim, one more question. Do you have anything that acts like life insurance? Meaning, are you self-insured? Do you have an annuity, a 401k, a Roth IRA, a 403b, whatever? Something that's going to go probate free over to your loved ones when you die. See, here's the key thing about that golden question. If I had asked it in a different way, I would be like the knife salesman asking you for your height, weight, and medications. See, if I go and ask improperly, Jim, if I come to your house and I ask you all these health questions, all these personal questions, because it pertains to insurance underwriting, and then I shift gears and I say, Jim, let me ask you something else. Do you have a 401k? How much is in it? How's it performing? Is it going up or is it going down? Your antenna are going to fire up. Your stop signs are going to fire up, because that's not my job. I'm not a financial advisor, and my guess is that most people on this call do not have a securities license. So don't do it, because you're not compliant to do it, and you're going to be uncomfortable doing it, and the client's going to be uncomfortable doing it. However, if we ask them about their current life insurance coverage, that makes perfect sense. And then if we ask them the golden question, do you have anything that acts like life insurance? That also makes sense. And here's the cool thing, psychologically, people want to be self-insured. That's what I found out. I've asked clients hundreds and hundreds of times, I've said, do you have any life insurance currently, term or whole life? Not corporate owned, something that's portable, something that's there when you need it and provides enough coverage for your loved ones. And they'll say yes or they'll say no. And if it's no, then obviously we need to take a look at providing some life insurance on a separate appointment. If it's yes, then obviously we need to take a review. I mean, you see how this bifurcates and creates leads upon leads with the current clients that you have and the license that you have? But then I ask the golden question. And yes, I'm being redundant. I'm being gratuitous because I want you to memorize this. I want you to hammer this home. Jim, do you have anything that acts like life insurance? Meaning, are you self-insured? Do you have a 401k, an IRA, an annuity, something that's going to go probate free over to your loved ones if you die? See, that's the crazy thing. Just because I'm a life insurance agent doesn't mean I'm not supposed to ask that question. And people want to be self-insured. There is a sex appeal to it, if you will, right? Jim, I know people who have a duplex. They've got $75,000 of credit card debt. They haven't paid off their student loans, but they're renting out one side of their duplex and they consider themselves Donald Trump, right? They're a real estate mogul. They want to brag about that. You will see that a switch will flick open, flick on, and they'll say, oh yeah, I'm self-insured, right? Pound on my chest. I'm proud of that. And they should be. And then I'll just ask them in round numbers, how much are we talking about here? 100,000, 200,000, half a million, $1 million. Okay. Now I make note of that, Jim, but then I continue conducting the business that I'm there to conduct. I conclude my Medicare appointment, my final expense appointment, whatever it might be. But in order to do that, you must be using a financial inventory. So please use the confidential needs analysis that is provided to you that Jim has put together on the Annuity Resource Center. So we've covered the confidence and compliance through the Annuity Badge. This is a video series that takes 88 minutes. 88 minutes, Jim. Now, I know we have a lot of younger agents. My kids can't watch a YouTube video for more than 30 seconds, right? But if there's a pot of gold at the end of it, they're going to sit through a boring 88 minutes. And I promise you, it's not as boring as you might think. It's me teaching 11 different segment videos. Some of them are 3 minutes. Some of them are 11 minutes. There's a quiz at the end of each one. And then you'll get a certification. It's a signed certification that says you've completed the course. More importantly, you're going to feel imbued with a ton of confidence and a ton of compliance. You're going to be ready to go out and ask that golden question. Secondly, you download that financial inventory and you make yourself a promise. You promise yourself that you will ask the golden question to every single person, no matter who they are, every single time. Promise yourself that. Get reps, get good, get better, get people saying no, get off balance, get uncomfortable, because that's the only way that you're going to grow. And when we talk about growing, the average commissions hover close to $10,000 on these annuities. So if you're not motivated by that, then you're probably in the wrong industry. And the cool thing about it is you're giving people help. You're providing something that they need. Let's look now at the third tile. Order the custom brochures. Now here's the cool thing. You can log into this and you can create your own customized brochures that talk about the 7 benefits of FIAs for retirement. You put in your first name, last name, your email, your phone number, your address, your city, the state, the zip code. You put your best photo that you can find, okay? You put your logo and you hit continue. Now you can download it right here, okay? Or I'll just show you this coming up. There it is, pages 1 and 2. It's a quad fold, beautifully colored. And you can see this is where your photo would go. This is where your logo will go. This is where all your information goes. Or you can hit continue and you're going to be able to purchase, and Jim, make sure that they can see me. You're going to be able to purchase 4-color glossy print quad folds, right? I think it's like $50 for 50 of them or something like that. No one's making money off this. This is going directly to the printers, but these are very powerful. See, you are an instant expert when you have this. You represent a company, Integrity, Western, that is one of the largest providers of retirement protection plans in the entire world. They have hundreds of thousands of agents that are helping people out with fixed index annuities. And guess what, Jim? You want to do something really smart? I think it takes 6 minutes to read through this. Remember, I always said you don't have to be the smartest person at your next convention or in the library or when you go to school or even on the school bus. I don't care. You just have to be the smartest person when it comes to your clients. And most clients are desperately devoid of any financial education. Read this. Read this. Here are the retirement challenges. Here's benefit number one, the power of indexing. And it literally talks to me about how indexing works. It participates in the upside of the market. It doesn't participate in the downside of the market, and it locks in your gains every single year. We're then going to go on to benefit 3 or 2, talking about securities and guarantees, tax deferral, elimination of fees, eliminations of risk, sequence of returns risk, guaranteed lifetime income, and we can even avoid probate. Wouldn't this be a fantastic leave behind? This might be your first annuity appointment ever, but you hand the client this and say, I'll be back next week at the same time to discuss a specific scenario on how an FIA could help your retirement. Voila, right? So I encourage you, at least download them, if not print them and have them sent to you. You're going to be armed and dangerous in a good way. Now, let's carry this forward. You've got your annuity badge. You've downloaded the financial inventory. You've committed to asking every single client you sit down with the golden question. Do you have anything that acts like the insurance? You've printed out your brochures. You have come across as an expert. And now what you're going to do is when you get someone who says, wow, this is interesting to me, and I want to schedule a meeting with them the following week, and I always recommend give yourself 1 week because it gives you time to get the response back from the specialist team and to review it and to prepare. Okay, so I'm just going to say to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, hey, if this is of interest to you, if you want to protect that retirement that you work so hard for, then let's go ahead and schedule another meeting next week at the same time. Now, what I'm going to do is when I get home that night or early the next morning, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Ask a Specialist. And this is the meat and potatoes. This is where it gets really slick. You're going to go ahead and enter in all the agent information. Then you're going to enter in the client information, right? Date of birth, target premium. All these are drop downs. None of them are required, Jim, because they might not know what they're going to do. Hold on one quick second, if you don't mind. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm back. So there's going to be things that you don't know. And as you get better and better, Jim, you're going to know to ask some more of these questions. But even the basic information, how old someone is, do they have a spouse? What state do they live in? How much money are they talking about? What you do is you just fill it out as best you can. And then I strongly encourage you, give a narration as much as you can. There's no bad information. Talk to them, right? Because you're going to glean information. They might say, well, I really want my cats taken care of, or I have 3 grandkids that I love and I want them to go to school. Put all that information into here. Attach any files. Maybe you took a picture of their current statement, their 401k. You check this box. It says you acknowledge that you're going to send this information over to another party. So we want to acknowledge that. And you hit submit. And here's the cool thing, Jim, within 24 to 48 hours, and it's usually quicker than that, a team of specialists are going to take that and they're going to look at it and they're going to look at every carrier, every product, and they're going to find out the best fit scenario for you. They're going to see if you're contracted with them. They're going to give you the illustrations. They're going to give you a narrative. They're going to give you any supplemental marketing material that you need. And then they're going to give you their phone number. So they're going to send it back. So while you're out selling your next appointments, the back office there for free. Western covers this. Western is paying for this for free. They're going to do all the back end work and then they're going to send it over to you. And then here's what you need to do. Again, like I said, make yourself a promise that you're going to ask the golden question to every client every single time. Also make yourself a promise that you will do your best to review what the Ask a Specialist returns. Because here's the trick. The first time you look at those illustrations, Jim, I mean, you remember the first time you've ever seen like an Allianz or an Athene illustration, you're kind of like, okay, what is this, right? You're going to go through and read it. You're going to ask questions. And what I encourage you to do is write your questions down. By the time you're finished, 2 of the 7 questions you already answered yourself, but then call the Ask a Specialist and ask the remaining questions. And then have the kahunas to just go in and do your best and do your best. Because here's why. If I submitted 100 Ask a Specialists, I'm probably going to get 3 to 4, even 2 to 3 different annuities sent over to me. You're going to see the same annuities over and over and over again. So by investing sometime the first time you do it, it has huge dividend payments for the next time and the next time. God forbid you actually start doing this. You actually start getting great asking the golden question. You've learned what's in the 7 benefits of FIAs, so your knowledge is already ahead of what your clients is. And then Ask a Specialist becomes really just a formality. Now they're just saving you time because they're sending it over. And you're like, oh, there it is. It's the Performance Pro from Fidelity and Guarantee. I know this product. I've already presented it 4 times. I've already sold one. I had an $11,000 commission, right? So don't be intimidated, right? Nothing worthwhile comes easy. Dig in, focus, pay attention. It will make sense. Jim, here's the analogy that I use. Have you ever had like a kid's bike that comes in pieces, right, from Walmart or whatever, or a piece of furniture that is, you're convinced it's missing the parts and you can't tell if part A goes to part B to part D to part C, right? You know what I'm talking about, Jim?
IKEA furniture.
There you go. Yes, exactly. IKEA furniture. Once you clear the desk, clear the space, right? Tell the dog to go sit down. Tell the kids to leave you alone. Grab a cup of coffee, right? And you just focus. Isn't it amazing that about halfway through you get it? You could now be an assembly worker for IKEA because you get it. So something that was as confusing as heck when you first looked at it all became demystified. That's what I encourage you to do. Embrace the challenge when your first illustrations come, ask the questions, and don't be afraid to go out and fail. It sounds crazy, but don't be afraid to go out and fail and be very transparent with your clients. Say, listen, I represent a very large nationwide company. They have specialists in-house, people with certifications and financial degrees who have prepared this. I'm going to do my best to explain it to you, but if there's any questions I can't ask, I will make sure to get the right answer for them. Fair enough? And people love honesty. People love to relate to you. And that's what you're doing. You're relating to them. So now, let's say you actually get an application. Well, I encourage you, use the Firelight e-application. You can log in right here. And when you ask a specialist, they're going to check to see if you're contracted with the carrier that they're recommending. If not, you can do it just in time. You can actually send in the application with the contracting paper. They're going to explain all of it to you. If you're like me, some ancient dinosaur who still does paper applications, then you can upload it. And there's a little demo on how to use Firelight. Why do we do this, Jim? Why do we have submit your application through the Ask a Specialist? For 2 reasons. One, because of our prowess, we get top priority through Integrity's leverage. So you get to go to the front of the line. But more importantly, they scrub it. They make sure that it is in good order because there are some confusing questions in there. You might have answered them incorrectly and it's now going to get rejected if you send it directly to the carrier. By sending it to this, Western has in-house people who are going to look at it and then help you correct it before they send it. So it's going to be a smooth process. And then finally, create free leads, digital leads through email and social media, and then mail out leads. And Jim, that's an exciting one that we have coming up in, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And we're going to have Mario on talking about how we're going to generate free leads. So I want to pause there. We went right for 30 minutes. And then we're going to open up for questions because this is the introduction to the Annuity Resource Center. This is how you need to use this tool. This, if you do what I say, will unlock literally $50,000 to $150,000 of income for you for this next month. And it doesn't require a different license. It doesn't require any leads. It's the same clientele you're already sitting with. This is how you do it. So, Jim, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions.
Yeah, folks. Right now, Sean, it looks like you've done great, and there aren't questions. So as people are thinking about what they might want to ask, I want to just jump in here. When you take the time to invest in your business, first of all, really you're investing in yourself, right, in your future, but you're also investing in your future clients. So especially if you're newer to annuities, but even if you've been doing them for a while, I strongly recommend you start at the get your annuity bags. Let's not skip the important steps, right?
Yeah.
They're in this order for a reason. And when it goes to ask a specialist, I see everyone that comes through. Okay. So my eyes, amongst other eyes, are on every ask a specialist illustration, case design request that you submit through this platform. So, it is not some lackey in the back room, that's getting peanuts. I'm the national sales director here. I've got a very experienced life and annuity team that I work with, and I get eyes on everything you submit, as well as so do people on my team as I distribute. So, just have confidence that it's being looked at. We often offer you more than one option when you do ask a specialist, because while we might think one might be better than another, we haven't sat down and talked to your client. You have. So what we're going to do is in most cases give you two, maybe three different options. That way you can look at them and then sit down and figure out what's best for your client as you're in that next appointment, because we really want to give you and your client service, right? We are not a cookie cutter, all products fit all cases type of carrier. I agree with Sean. You are going to get, as if you ask for accumulation, there's some very big standouts in accumulation. So if that's a constant request, you'll learn that product pretty quickly because you'll get it over and over and over again. There's only really two or three that stand sort of above the fray on accumulation. Same with if you're looking at lifetime income. So while we don't cookie cutter things for your clients, there are standout products right now in the market. And so I just wanted to share that's how we work. But we do look at every case that you send in as an individual case, as an individual person. It is not just a number that we're trying to get you a quick answer for, because it matters to us. Those of you who already do business with us are doing business with us because we put the time in with you and we've earned your trust in your business, and we plan on continuing to do that. And those of you who are considering, I know a few of you on the call I've talked to on an individual basis, and you're considering doing business with us. That's how we work. We want to earn your business, and we want to build a partnership with you for a long time, not just give a contract and then never hear from you again. It doesn't do us much good. So, I think there is a question about Sean, about the applications, and I want to reiterate, it's about the Firelight process, folks. The Firelight here comes through our team, and so there's two big huge advantages. First of all, on any e-app, they're designed to, in almost every case, go through in good order, right? So you're already a step ahead of the game using an e-app if you aren't a dinosaur like Sean and like to use paper. Sorry, Sean, you said you like paper, but
You're accurate. Yeah.
the other advantage is, as he said, and I want to reiterate this, we've got staff here that's going to scrub that. So whether it's an e-app or a paper app, if you send it through us and not directly to the carrier, we're going to try and save you some heartache, frustration, time, maybe even embarrassment in front of your client by scrubbing that app ahead of time, getting it back to you if it's not in good order, so you can take care of whatever is missing sooner than later. Because sometimes clients get scared when things are delayed, and oftentimes if it takes too long, they start to second guess their choice with doing the business, making the change, buying the annuity. So that's what we're trying to do is not only service you, but also instill that confidence that they have that what you're doing it well and it's getting processed the right way. So that's why Firelight. First of all, we recommend, and even if not, sending those cases through us and not directly to the insurance company. We work hard to make you look good because, like Sean said, you're why we're here. So not really any questions. So I'm just going to say this, folks. I know I've talked to some of you, like I said, on a one-on-one basis. Have good relationships with a lot of you on the call. This is who we are and what we're committed to doing. Sorry, just got another question, so I want to. Sean, the question is, sorry, I switched because I want to make sure and answer more questions if they come in.
Yeah,
Is
I want people to ask questions. Yeah, I can't see where you're seeing the questions, but go ahead and
I've got it.
I've got it. Okay.
The question is the digital lead system up and running? I know you said Mario was going to talk about that here in a couple weeks,
Yeah,
but they want to know if it's up and running.
yeah, it is. It is. So if you want to attack it, go for it. And Jim, I'm saying that because it's pretty compliant. So let me share my screen one more time. All right, can you see my screen?
We can.
All right, let's go here. Go back to the Annuity Resource Center. This is going to take you to Westerns. And y'all think about this from a recruiting standpoint. I don't know how many of you are building agencies, but being able to talk to other Medicare agents about how we'll show you how to double your income with annuity volume. We have a totally free marketing boost library, but this is a new one we put up, Jim. Check this one out. Reignite your retirement with a 15% jump start. That's going to grab people's attention. So you go send now, okay? You get to preview with the graphics, the text, everything like that. And then you can say launch marketing boost. Now you're going to upload your nice, pretty picture so everybody can recognize you because this is to your clients. You're going to put in your first name, last name, email, phone number, etc. But I don't want to waste this. We're actually going to have Mario, the president of Zeti Software, the company that I used to own that I sold to Integrity, that created this. This software won a Diamond Award, a DIA award in Barcelona in 2016, and for 3 years in a row was in the top 50 insurtech startups. It is a phenomenal automated digital marketing system that you all have access to because of Jim and because of Western. So it's up and running. If you feel like you're savvy, you can go ahead and start doing it. Otherwise, I think it's in 2 weeks, Jim, that we're going to be going over how to use Insurance Drip.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I don't know Dan, I don't know the exact week it is, but I know it's in the next 2 to 3 weeks because after that we start to get into case study. So if you want to contact me offline, you can. I'll give our phone number here at the end, and if you have questions about that, let me know. Also got your other message, Dan. So again, feel free to ask for me directly after this call. Now, Scott asked a couple good questions here. Sean, as we talk about it specifically non-securities annuities, which is all we do here at Western Marketing, even though you've had a securities license, I've been securities licensed. There's a common objection by a lot of, I'm gonna air quote, experts in the securities field or other financial fields that are anti um, fixed annuity, anti-indexed annuity.
Right.
Um, so how would you, if you were an agent sitting down with a client, they said, "Hey, Sean, I was listening to Dave Ramsey last week, and he
Right.
really doesn't think fixed index annuities are that great. Can you give maybe a couple pearls of wisdom that, other than, well, it's because he doesn't offer fixed index annuities, which is usually why most of them hate them. But can you give other pearls of wisdom that you would use in that conversation with the client to help handle that objection?"
Yeah, I think it is important if you happen to know what someone's motivation is. But if I were going to answer that, I'm very careful. I don't do two things. I don't slander people,
Right.
and I don't say what you did was stupid. I don't speak in absolutes, right? So Jim, if you ask me a question, you said, "Well, Dave Ramsey said not to do annuities." Okay, here's the bad way to answer it. Well, Dave Ramsey doesn't have the licensing I have. Dave Ramsey's not a financial advisor. And did you know that Dave Ramsey recommends term insurance and owns one of the largest term insurance agencies in the world because he wants you to buy? Also, did you know that if you look at the difference between, say, an IUL and a term policy, dollar for dollar, the term pays more. Why? Because the death claims are so low. So of course Dave Ramsey is wanting you to buy term because he wants you to pay for everything, right? That's a bad way to do it. Because what you did is you just, excuse my French, you just shit on everything they did. And there are some good things that Dave Ramsey is doing for them. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
You also don't want to say stuff like the stock market, you're gambling your money. I wouldn't put my money in the stock market, right? Well, they made a decision to do that. You're now saying they are not capable of making smart decisions, but you want them to make a decision. It's counterintuitive. So here's how you handle it. Here's how you handle it. Say, well, Jim, respectfully, I think Dave Ramsey does a lot of good things. I really do. Unfortunately, it's really hard for there to be a one size fits all solution. Um, Fixed index annuities have grown faster than any other retirement tool financial product for a reason, because they're very good at what they do. So let me reiterate this, okay? If you're concerned about protecting your principal, never having it go down, if you want to have the highest participation potential in a product that is protected, right? So meaning higher potential than CDs, higher potential than money market accounts. And if you want to have the ability to create guaranteed lifetime income for the rest of your life, then anything Dave Ramsey is talking about, term insurance, index investments, all these things are great. They have their place in financial preparation, but none of them accomplish it as well as a fixed index annuity. So respectfully, what I would ask you to do is let's set up a meeting and let me show you what the team, the specialists can do specific to your scenario. And then if it makes sense, you can proceed. And if not, you at least have the knowledge. So that's how I handle it. I always come back to those three things. I don't care if Ken Fisher is in an elevator with me and he says, I shit on annuities. Annuities are a bad idea. That's all marketing. That's all marketing. You see it in politics. I mean, why would it be any different? What does this Democrat say about this Republican? What does this Republican say about this Democrat? It's all smear campaigns. So why do we believe it when it comes to financial services? Because we're naive. So I just ask people, don't fall into the smear campaigns. Use your own judgment. Let me present to you in an agnostic, neutral way of how this works. And I always come back to those three things. In fact, we covered it last meeting, and there's a recording of it if you want, but memorize those three things: protection of principal, highest upside gain potential for a safe product, and guaranteed lifetime income. Those three things you cannot find in any stock, in any bond, in any closed-end fund, in any ETF, in any preferred stock. I can go down the list. It doesn't exist. Only the fixed index annuity offers those things together in a comprehensive, easy to understand package. And those three things are of super high value to a person who is 65 and over.
Completely agree. The only other thing I would add, Scott, is the older your client gets, the less risk tolerance they're going to have with their retirement funds. So, not that it's bad that they might have stuff in the stock market, but again, we're talking safety. And so I would talk to them about where they're at and what their risk tolerance is with their money. And I'm not saying, again, like Sean said, we aren't saying take every penny they have and put them in
Right.
index annuities, right? But we're saying these make sense for the right people at the right time in their lives based on their personal situation. And no, I think those key three things are important. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, yeah. So Scott, look forward to some of these things that Jim has scheduled out, because one of them I'm going to talk about is the two bucket approach. I'm a capitalist. I'm a patriot. I believe in the U.S. stock market. I think everybody should have exposure to stocks. Here's the wonderful thing about a fixed index annuity. It is a non-correlated bucket of money. So if you have a year that the market goes down and you have to take out your RMDs, you have to pay for your mortgage, you have to go on a vacation, you don't have to take it out of the stock bucket. You can take it out of your fixed index annuity bucket. And the same thing for IUL. So I'm going to show you how to harmonize these. I have some fantastic presentations that are on the docket as we build our knowledge and build our confidence. But it starts with that baseline. You got to ask the right question. And here's the deal, Scott, and I'm saying this to everyone, but it sounds like Scott's kind of engaged here. You'll run into people who will say, Dave Ramsey said this, I don't want to do it. And you retard that answer, and then they say it's this, and they say it's this. Your time, your energy is the most precious thing of all. Never try to sell someone who isn't interested in hearing you. Move on to the next one. It's a numbers game. Just like I said, hey, you want to dance? You want to dance? You want to dance? You want to dance? Don't be emotionally attached to it, because that's what drains us, right, Jim? That's the thing that makes us want to not do this anymore. And what we want you to understand is that's not necessary. If someone says no, maybe they don't like your cologne, maybe they don't like your car, maybe they don't like you, or maybe they just don't like the product. Move on to the next one. But anyways, I'm babbling a little bit, but I think that is kind of a nice
Yeah.
supplement. Stick with this series, stick with these videos, y'all, because we're going to teach you more and more, and your confidence is going to grow, and you're going to be a tremendous force out there helping people protect their retirements.
Yeah. No, I agree. And so the last question we have is about the fiduciary rule. Since most of us, actually probably everybody on the call except for you, Sean, because I've let my securities license go. What are your input on concerns over the necessity for the fiduciary rules? I mean, what are
Well,
your thoughts on that?
yeah, yeah. Okay. Here's why you want to submit to ask a specialist, because there is a best interest rule that has been adopted by 46 of the 50 states, or 47 of the 50 states. So you will have to prove that you did what's in their best interest. That's what a fiduciary is. Okay. And there's two usages of fiduciary. So let's not get confused. There's a fiduciary for an IAR on the security side, and then there's a fiduciary under the best interest law for a licensed insurance agent. I'm covering both, but let's focus on that insurance agent. The insurance agent is you. When you ask a specialist, you have washed your hands. You have been arm's length. Now a bunch of people are deciding, right? Jim knows his stuff. His team knows his stuff. They're going to pick the best annuity, and then they're going to document it. And it is all encrypted and backed up on the system. So if we ever had someone come back 2 years later and said, wait a minute, you sold me something that wasn't in my best interest, we could say, oh, that's not true. Here's all the documentation. And so it's very, very important to do that. If you want to know what not to do, please watch those videos, because I literally talk about it in there. We aren't going to talk about stocks. We're not going to ask about performance. We're not going to tell them which stocks to sell. We only talk about the annuities, what they can do, and if they would like to transfer the money over, that's up to them. So I cover more of that in detail in the video series. If you haven't watched that, please do.
And with that, as I said, that's why we often offer more than one solution when you do ask a specialist, right? Because we want to give you multiple options, and that's an added layer of protection, right? Because you can say, whether, and it's usually the kids or grandkids, right? Why'd you lock up grandma's money
Right.
or mom's money, that complain. but you can say, hey, Mr. Smith, we actually offered your mom this annuity, and that annuity. And based on the information she had that she provided with us, she chose what was best for her. I didn't push any one over another. So it's just
Right.
an added layer of protection. The only other thing I'll say about that we do here is often when you ask a specialist, you may get an email or a phone call to ask for more information. So if we are not 100% feeling that we're crystal clear on the objectives that you and your client are asking for us to uh, solve for, you're going to hear from us prior to even receiving an illustration. Because if we don't have enough information, we can't have an educated answer to solve your client's needs and what they're looking for. But that was a great question. I think it's important for us to all be aware of who we do this for, right? We all are blessed enough to have an opportunity to make a good living to be in this market, but at the end, we're helping the consumer, right? We're helping your customer fill their lifetime income needs, their retirement income needs, whatever that need is. So, no, that was also a great question. So, with that, folks, we're at the end of the webinar, and the almost hour has flown by. So, Sean, thank you so much as always, not only for your insight and guidance, but all your support and your friendship. Folks, Sean does this as a courtesy and a partnership to us. So, we really appreciate that. For all of you who've sat through the webinar, thank you so much. Again, we wouldn't be here without you. I did promise to give our contact information. So Dan or anybody else, if you need anything, our office number is 800-852-7152. Again, 800-852-7152. My name is Jim Codney. I'm our National Sales Director. You're welcome to ask for me or anybody on our life and annuity team. I've got a great team of marketers. Folks, I wouldn't trade them for the world. They're the best in the industry. So you don't have to ask for me. You can ask for Amanda, Deb, Tyler Marr. Any of them are going to be able to help you just as good as I could. So, with that, we look forward to working with you again. Thank you for your time, and just make it a great day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.